Hey, what is going on, you grimy gang? All right, that's right, coming at you with some more Regidrago action. This time, taking a look at the first take build of mine for the Shrouded Fable format that's coming up. Before we jump into it, though, I'm sure you're wondering, Azul, that desk mat with the flying Pikachu is super dope. Where do I get it? The answer is qualitypatchdesigns.com, of course. They got more than just desk mats as well. T-shirts, skirts, I don't know, blankets, beanies and hats, ties. They've got it all. qualitypatchdesigns.com. Link, of course, will be in the description, and code AzulGG will get you a discount over there as well, so make sure you go check it out. So yeah, Regidrago, been pretty poppin' the end of the current format, and it looks like it's going to be that much better going into the Shrouded Fable format. So I'll start with some of the Pokemon here. Of course, the main Pokemon in the deck, our main attacker, is the Regidrago V-Star with the Apex Dragon attack that allows us to use any attacks of any Dragon Pokemon in our discard pile for 2 grass and a fire. And then the Legacy Star ability to discard the top 7 cards of our deck, and then we can take any 2 cards out of our discard pile. So I currently have a 4/3 Regidrago V-Star line in this build. The new attackers to the squad. Up first, we have that Kyurem with the ability that says, if your opponent has a Colress supporter card in their discard pile, or a supporter card with Colress in its name in their discard pile, I don't know exactly how it's worded. Basically, if there's a Colress experiment in the Lost Zone player's discard pile that we're up against, its attack can be used for a colorless energy, and the attack does 110 damage to 3 of our opponent's Pokemon. So of course this can be stopped by Manaphy, but we do play Canceling Cologne, so we can get around that potentially. And the attack cost for Water, Metal, Colorless, although it becomes a colorless if we're up against a Lost Zone deck specifically, using Regidrago's Apex Dragon attack. Oh, also the attack discards all energy attached to it. But using the Apex Dragon attack, we can copy the Kyurem's attack for Grass, Fire, and then do 110 damage to 3 of our opponent's Pokemon. We do have to discard the Grass, and Fire energy attached to our Regidrago to get there, but it's not reliant on our opponent having a Colress in the discard pile to utilize. So this isn't just a powerful attacker up against Lost Zone decks, but just literally any deck, which is pretty good. Doing 110 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon in play, even if we have to discard all the energy attached to our Pokemon we're attacking with, is a pretty good trade-off. The next attacker, not quite as strong as the Kyurem. The next new attacker here is this Haxorus. The first attack knocks out our opponent's active Pokemon if they have special energy, so could be good up against Lugia, but Lugia does play Mist Energy, which would prevent the first attack from the Haxorus. The second attack is really what we're playing this card for, potentially. This is definitely not a keeper in the deck, but I think it's worth putting in initially to try out. 230 damage for... well, I was going to say the attack cost. The attack cost doesn't matter because we're using everything through Apex Dragon. I guess for Kyurem specifically, if we are up against a Lost Zone deck, we could just attack with the Kyurem itself. We don't have to use Regidrago once they put a Colress in their discard pile. But yeah, the Haxorus, second attack, 230 damage, discard the top 3 cards of our deck. So that's not great. Obviously, we don't want to discard the top 3 cards of our deck, but being able to do 230 damage is definitely a damage number that the Regidrago deck has been lacking. Being able to KO stuff like Ogerpons or other V Pokemon, like other Regidrago Vs and stuff like that, is something that we can't really do that efficiently. If you play the Giratina's V-Star or the Raging Bolt, those can hit those numbers, but they are pretty costly attacks to pull off in the early game. So this would be like a nice attacker for those kind of situations. The rest of the attackers we have here are the usual suspects. 2 Dragapult. I honestly think we can maybe cut down to 1 Dragapult EX. Now that we've got 2 new attackers in the Kyurem and the Haxorus, we can maybe go down to 1 Dragapult EX. Not sure. Depends on what the meta looks like as well, of course. If there's a lot of Charizard, a lot of Dragapult, a lot of Gardevoir, then you probably still want 2 Dragapult, but definitely a consideration. I still got the Raging Bolt in here in this build. Giratina V-Star maybe for the format for the meta coming up in Shrouded Fable could be better, but still rocking the Raging Bolt. Definitely want one of the 2. Want Raging Bolt or Giratina V-Star. I wouldn't play both ever, but one or the other. Still rocking the Goodra as well for a little bit of damage reduction. Still hitting hard as well with that Rolling Iron. And the Hawlucha, of course, for those aggressive Dragapult plays. You need the Hawlucha. I got a couple more Pokemon here, but this is the supporting cast, of course. We got the 4 Ogerpon EX. And as we've had to add some new faces to the deck, like the Haxorus, like the Kyurem, space has been getting a little bit tight. I still have maintained the 4 Ogerpons in here, but I could definitely see us cutting one at some point to make a little bit of extra room. Gotta have the Mew in here for the draw power, the pivot, even as an attacker, sometimes the squawk ability for that early aggressive draw as well. First or second, doesn't matter. We can abuse that. And then Cleffa, of course, for those matchups where when we do go second, we want that one prizer in our active up against stuff like Mirror Match and Raging Bolt. This is a great Pokemon to set up into our active, so our opponent can't just punch or KO a 2-prize Pokemon for their first attack. And we can also, if we go second, we can draw some cards with it as well with the Grass Bean draw for free, so that's pretty nice. Supported lineup hasn't changed very much, of course. The real boost we got from this deck was the new attackers. We didn't really gain too much else from Shrouded Fable. So we got the 4 research, of course. I am down to 2 Iono. I was kind of talking about like, hey, we got to fit all this new stuff in here. We got to make some cuts somewhere. I didn't cut an Ogerpon quite yet. I've thought about it. I did cut an Iono from my last format or current format build. Shrouded Fable was the future format. I had 3 in there previously. 3 bosses orders and 1 prime catcher for the Gust still, of course. I've actually been thinking about going up to 4 bosses orders. It does make a little bit more sense potentially because of the Kyurem, because we can combo Gust with canceling Cologne after we bring up their Manaphy to shut off the Manaphy's ability to then use Kyurem around the Manaphy or into the Manaphy. I guess we could go ahead and punch the Manaphy as well because we can hit 110 anywhere. So we could like against Gardevoir, theoretically, you could like boss up the Manaphy. We got a Regidrago set up. We got Kyurem in our discard pile. Play the canceling Cologne, and then we could knock out like the Manaphy plus 2 Curlias, or triple Curlia would be better if there's 3 Curlias available, but options are there. For the items, we got the, or Pokemon search, I should say, we got the 4 Ultra Ball, the 4 Nest Ball, the 4 Earthen Vessel, the 4 Energy Switch, 2 Superior Energy Retrieval. Still no Super Rod. I don't think Super Rod's worth it over the Superior, so I'm still on that Superior train right now. And then for the energy count, I have cut back on it a little bit. I've talked back and forth about 8 grass energy, 7 grass energy. I think 9 is a little bit overkill, to be honest. I'm pretty comfortable not going up to 9 ever again, to be honest. I went down to 7, though. Like I said, we had to make some space here to get the Haxorus, get the Kyurem, canceling Cologne. There's some powerful cards we want to try and include in here. Gotta make some sacrifices somewhere. So I'm initially going to be trying out the 7 basic grass. It seems doable. I think we can make it work, but only time will tell with some testing. And of course, we still rock the 3 fire energy. Pricing a fire energy if we only play 2 would be pretty devastating. Although, to be honest, maybe we could theoretically get away with 2 fire. It'd be something worth testing. Definitely would be worth testing. Cut a fire. Maybe bring up that 8th grass. I could see it. I could see it. We got the vessel, so as long as we don't prize both of them, we're still cooking. And I wouldn't worry about prizing both basic fires if you only played 2. If that happens, just GG, go next. But there it is. I guess we could still attack with Ogerpon to get a prize card to maybe still stay in the game. But yeah, that's it. My take on Regidrago headed into the Shrouded Fable format. Let me know what other decks y'all want to see me build for the Shrouded Fable form in the comment section down below. Let's shuffle this up and let's run through a test hand real fast. All right, we're all shuffled up here. Gonna get our 7 cards, and I think blind, we're gonna be wanting to go first still into the Shrouded Fable format. So we're gonna pretend that we are going first here. All right, we got the Cleffa start, so that's our pivot. That'll be nice. Get my prize cards out here. Hopefully nothing too devastating in the prize cards. And yeah, we're gonna pretend we're going first here. So no draw supporters. We'll see what we can do. Ooh, okay, 2 Ogerpons. I have this Earthen Vessel here as well. We have an Ultra Ball. I think we're gonna start with, this is actually kind of tough. Go with the Vessel. It almost feels like I'm going to end up using Squawk ability here. I'm not going to lie. We're going to give up the boss's orders here. And we're going to go grab ourselves some grass energy. The Squawk ability is in the deck. All right, so that is like a possibility here. We're going to start with some Field Dances. And see what that gets us. And then we'll decide if our Ultra Ball is going to grab us. Regidrago. Maybe we'll just draw into a Regidrago. All right, number 1 here. What do we got? Professor's Research for next turn is good. Okay, number 2. Ooh, we could go number 2 there. The other play we could make would be just Ultra Ball these 2 away, get the Regidrago V, attach the grass. Actually, I'm kind of leaning towards that instead. Grab the Regidrago. Yeah, I feel like just getting that down, getting that established is probably the better way to go. If we got like a Nest Ball or something like that, then we would have gone into the other Ogerpon, or just got a Drago. Okay, attach return, pass over to our opponent. Let's go ahead and say they knock out our Cleffa. All right, goodbye, Cleffa. Let's see if we can get off a turn 2 attack here. Top deck an Iono, evolve into the Regidrago V-Star. This is actually one part of this deck that I always struggle with a little bit. Should we just like Legacy Star first here? Probably not. And it'd be Iono versus Research. Let's just go with the Research here. Depending on how big their hand is, you might want to go ahead and hit them with the Iono. But for this situation, I think this will be fine. Okay, we got some E-switches. We got the Ogerpon as well. Question would be like, what kind of attack do we want to use at this point? What are we trying to use as far as our attack goes? Because we have all the attacks available to us. I don't know, but maybe we're looking for a specific attack here. And if we are, we do this. Let's just get rid of our Dragapult here. Let's get some grass energy, because the attack is set up with Dragapult. But let's just go ahead and say we want to attack with, I don't know, let's go with Kyurem. Maybe we're trying to get the Kyurem attack off. We'll shuffle this up. Yeah, let's say our opponent, they forgot to bench their Manaphy. Maybe their Manaphy's prized. Kyurem's our target this turn. That's what we're playing towards here. Okay, so Ogerpon number 1. Another grass. Okay. Ogerpon number 2. Superior here. Do we have energy in our discard pile? We do. Okay. Now we're going to hit up that Legacy Star, and we're going to see what we're cooking with. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm going to go with an Ultra Ball. And I don't know, maybe we would want the Hawlucha here. That's possible. We get another card here. Or a Nest Ball. We can go for a Nest Ball maybe because that'd be another Regidrago. Got all this to our hand. Then we can Ultra Ball away the energy and the Squawkabilly. Because we got to get this Kyurem, but we got to get it into the discard pile here. So I'm going to go through, grab our Kyurem. And it goes to our hand as well. And then Superior Energy Retrieval. Here's where we have to make a choice. What do we want to keep? So we're definitely getting rid of the Kyurem. And then we'd have to be like, all right, do we want the energy switch for the next Regidrago? Do we feel like we need Gust next turn? And the last thing would be, do we need the Regidrago right now? Or could we just give it the Nest Ball? And in which case, I mean, it doesn't really change what we got. Let's go ahead and say we want the options. Let's get rid of the energy switch here. Grab ourselves back all of this energy. This is why the Superior Energy Retrievals are so good in this deck as well. It's like another way to discard cards. The energy recovery is obviously great. Get E-switch up here. And then, depending on the situation, we would want to go for that. Yeah, depending on the situation, we'd want to go for that extra Regidrago if we thought this thing was under threat to get knocked out. If we thought it was under threat to get knocked out, we'd probably keep the E-switch instead here like this. And then we could E-switch over and already be that much closer. And then if we... I guess we'd want to keep the E-switch there, to be honest, anyways, because we're saying Kyurem is our play here. We're going like this, and then we're theoretically drawing 3 prize cards. But yeah, that's a turn with Regidrago here, Shrouded Fable formats. Once again, comment section down below. Let me know what other builds you want to see me put together. And I may, I guess, run through a quick turn or two with as well. Catch you all in the next one. Peace.